So some of you may be wondering if BeatStars Promote is worth it, how to use it, and what all the different features and parameters are for and how they work. Well, that's exactly what I'm going to dive into in this video to answer all these questions and take you through how to set up a BeatStars Promote campaign and my own thoughts on it. So BeatStars Promote has actually changed quite a lot in the last few years, even in the last year. I've tried a few different campaigns over the course of my time on BeatStars, and my thoughts have somewhat changed as well. So to get to the Promote tab, you click these dots up here and click Promote. Now in the Promote tab, you can actually see a test campaign that I did a few months back, which was actually to test one of the features that they added. As you can see, I promoted a sound kit, and I'll explain why I chose that in a bit. For some reason, it's not showing the previous campaigns I've done before that, maybe because they were too long ago, I don't know. But anyway, this isn't the only campaign I've done. So starting a new campaign, the first thing you need to do before doing anything on this campaign is actually have a look at your data and analytics and make decisions about the kind of campaign that you want to create. Why are you doing the campaign? What's the aim behind it? It could be you just want some attention on your profile and you want to start getting some followers. It could be you want to put some money behind a beat that has already performed well. It could be you just want to promote a new sample pack which you've just released, etc. You need to decide what your strategy is with this campaign. Start thinking like a business. Think strategically at what you're trying to do and how you're going to try and do it. So the first thing to do is to name your campaign. Call it whatever you want. For when I look back and want to remember what this campaign was for, I normally name it with the product name that I'm promoting, the areas I'm targeting, and how much I bidded, which I will come on to. So because I imagine most of you who are watching will want to use this to promote your beats, let's act as if we're setting up a beat campaign. So let's choose track. And now I have to select which track. As I said, I would recommend choosing one that you know that people will like. Maybe you've leased it before, or it's got more free downloads on it than others. The thing that will mess up your whole campaign, which is in your control, is if the beat isn't good enough. So make sure that it is, get feedback from people if you're not too sure. Let's pick this country beat that I made. So now you need to decide how much you're gonna spend each day. The minimum is $5. Make sure this is something you can afford and is extra disposable income that you are comfortable with letting go. Obviously our aim is to earn it back, but I think you've got to be prepared to not see that money back to determine whether or not you're comfortable with letting it go. Especially in the first couple campaigns, you sort of need to use them as tests and data for you to optimize what a real successful campaign can do for you. In terms of what you should set it to, it's obviously completely down to your personal circumstances. Obviously, the more you spend, the more eyes you will get on your beat. However, this is also affected by a new feature below. So click Advanced Options, and you will see another slider for bidding. So this is something BeatStars added probably about 3 or 4 months ago. It's not unique to BeatStars. It's basically a way for them to rank all the different promote campaigns which are going on and decide who to show to people when. So if you set a higher number for bidding, you're basically saying, I'm willing to pay this much for 1,000 impressions. That doesn't mean you will spend that much. If I've set my daily budget to $5 a day and I set it to $50 for the bidding, I'm not going to spend $50. It's basically a way of breaking down how much you're going to pay per impression. If I set my bidding to $10, and then the amount you can afford to buy with your daily budget will then be purchased, if you see what I mean. So an example, if I set my bidding at $10, to figure out how much I would be paying for each impression, I would divide whatever number I've set for the bidding by 1,000, which would be 1 cent. So I'm paying 1 cent per impression. Someone who bids higher than you will obviously pay more per impression, but they will be prioritized in being shown to people first. It doesn't mean you won't show up to anyone, but the people who bid higher than you will rank higher. Again, I think this is about finding the balance, and you've got to test it out for yourself. Then you set your date for how long you want the campaign to run for with your daily budget. If you're deciding between whether to spend more over fewer days or less over a longer amount of days, I would say prolong the campaign, because then it can be a more steady exposure and potentially help you in the marketplace algorithm. Obviously, I don't work for BeatStars, I don't know the ins and outs of the algorithm, but to me, logically, to have a steady amount of increased ears and eyes on your track could be a good thing. Now for targeting. This is where you decide who your campaign will show up to. You can just pick global audience, but that will obviously just show your campaign to anyone and everyone, so I really would recommend not to do that. This first section here is a completely new feature in BeatStars, which people have been calling for years and years. Honestly, whenever you would speak to a producer or anyone on BeatStars about BeatStars Promote and whether it's good or not, they would always mention the fact that you can't target specifically towards artists or producers. But now it's here. We obviously need to investigate how much it will affect the efficiency and effectiveness of campaigns on BeatStars, but it's certainly a good thing it's been added. So for my campaign, if I'm promoting a beat, I would obviously select artists because producers aren't going to want to buy my beats. If it's a sample pack, I would probably pick producers. If it's my profile, I guess I'd pick both, but I'd use this more for beats and sound kits. Now, keywords. It's obviously in the name, but this is a key part because this will also determine where your campaign is shown. It's determining what does the target group have to type for your campaign to show up. So get in the mind of someone who would be interested in your beat. What's the most relevant keywords and likely keywords that they're likely to type in? For my country track, it would probably be country type beat. I could use an artist keyword, but obviously you've got to make sure it's an artist that is searched enough. It's not the end of the world if the keywords aren't quite right, but this is something you've got to optimize to really make your campaign really effective. Your campaign will still be shown to people even if your keywords aren't quite right, as it says here, but obviously it will have a lot higher success rate and conversion rate if the keywords are optimized and are super relevant to what you're promoting. Next is location targeting. I would look again at your analytics and see where your track or tracks are popular and push in that country. Now you also have to think about the general popularity of the genre in that country. So for me, with this track, because it's a country track, it's most likely to be searched for and liked by people who are in the US, Canada, maybe Ireland and the UK, and Australia maybe. You also have to research a little bit into the countries that you're thinking of promoting to. Some countries don't spend much online at all, so it will be harder to make sales if you're targeting those countries. However, it could be a good idea to not promote to just the popular countries on BeatStars like the US and the UK and Canada, because in those countries you're obviously competing a lot more with more people. As I said, the best thing I think you can do is look at your own information in your analytics. Then you set up your billing and bang. A little thing I forgot to say is before promoting your track, a good strategy could be to change the title of the track and put some sort of promo in the title as well to incentivize people to purchase it. Could be a bulk deal or that you've already changed the price of the beat and you've put the discount of the percentage that you've taken off in the title as well. It just gives an extra incentive for all the people that see your promotion to purchase your beat. So there we are, that's BeatStars Promote explained. I hope that was helpful and useful for you. If you do a campaign, I'd be really interested to hear what you did, what you thought of it, if it was successful or not, and if you think it's worth it or not. I have to say, before BeatStars implemented the kind of new features which I talked about, the more specific targeting parameters, I was not a huge fan of Promote. Now that they've added the key detail in allowing people to choose whether to promote to artists or producers, I think that's really key and that really brings it up in my estimation. And obviously the bidding and the targeted countries as well. I'll be a lot more likely to use it now than before, and certainly going forward I'll be trying some new campaigns. Let me know your thoughts and I'll see you in the next video.